Ruben, here's the next question.
Great.
A lady said, she was asking rather, did God create evil? As stated in Isaiah 45:7, where he said, I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things.
Okay.
So, did God create evil?
Well, thank you for the question. One of the problems with the Bible is the different translations, and we don't always spot the particular things the translators are trying to say. As hopefully by now, I mean, Jude definitely knows this, but hopefully by now all of you are getting to know it, that I always say context, context, context. So let's look at this particular passage in Isaiah 45 and see what's being said in the whole passage, rather than focusing it down straight away on the one part of a verse that you've quoted. Not that it's wrong to make these challenges, but actually we get to see what the whole reason for the passage is by having that wider view. So if we look at verse 5, we see what the writer is trying to do. He is proclaiming from God's own mouth, I am the Lord and there is no other. So what is God like? Well, that's a good question, isn't it? What sort of God do you want? Because very often we try and make God be like we want him to be. And I tend to call that the teddy bear God. You know, the God that we bring out to hug when we're feeling a bit down, but then we put him back on the shelf when we're all right. He's a God who's comforting and caring and lovely. And yes, there's that aspect to God, and there's nothing necessarily wrong with seeing him as a source of comfort. But if that's all he is, we're missing his greatness and his fearfulness, because this is the God who holds the world in his hand. This is the God who spoke and it came into being. This is the God who understands every person's heart. That's a bit scary. This is the God who has plans for the world and is working towards the fulfillment of those plans. So then, how does that look in the way that God comes? So from the rising of the sun, this is in verse 6, to the place of its setting, God's desire is that men may know there is none beside me. So God's desire is that the whole world might know him. That's the answer to another question. We may come back to that, Jude, in a little time. But then the writer starts this list. I am the Lord and there is no other. Now my translation of verse 7, which we've just come to, has this. I form the light and I create darkness. I bring prosperity and I create disaster. I, the Lord, do all these things. That's a bit uncomfortable. That's not a teddy bear God, is it?
Yeah.
That's a God who is somewhat bigger than that and is working his purposes out in the world. And you see that the translation that you've got there is true in a sense. So evil times is one of those phrases that we have in English, which talks of times which are very hard. They're not necessarily evil in the sense of a man like Hitler. It's not that sort of evil. It's an expression of hard times, good and evil in that sense of prosperity, but also on the other hand of harsh times, of famine, of hurt, of warfare. And God is saying that he is the God who is in charge over all these things, not just the good. He's not just a God for the good, he's also a God for evil. If you want to read that worked out in great detail, and I expect Jude will know where I'm going now, it's Habakkuk. Read the prophecy of Habakkuk. It's only 4 chapters, but it's a great book. I love it because what you have is the prophet going up on the walls and stomping his little feet and saying, God, it's not good enough. What are you doing? What are you playing at? I have all these questions about what's going on because it's awful and it's terrible and I need answers. And I like prayers like that because prayers like that actually get responses. And then the book of Habakkuk is the